You go from being drafted to the Rangers, you spend a cup of coffee with the Brewers, but then you end up in a
Mhm.
blockbuster trade with the Marlins. Okay.
Yep.
For as a young cat, just kind of trying to get your feet wet, does that do something to your mental space on and off the field when you're making these moves so quickly in such a young career?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the first one hurt definitely because all I knew was Texas and the Rangers and all my friends that I had made, and we all had aspirations of being in the big leagues together and helping the Rangers win a World Series. So the first one to the Brewers definitely hurt. It took me some time to get over that, but realizing it and talking to my agent and talking to different coaches and stuff like, hey man, this is a good thing. A team
Mm,
wants you. I was immediately their number one prospect, so was getting treated like a number one prospect. Anything I needed, any extra work that I needed, I was, everybody was there to help me out as much as they could, because
yeah.
they gave away a big asset for me. So, it's a big investment, and selecting this kid to be, the guy in a sense. It was great. I was only with the Brewers for like a year and a half. It was
Hmm.
a short stint, but that was a great time. I made my debut with them, so I'll always have special place in my heart for the Brewers, man. They made my dream come true, make it into the big leagues. But getting traded that second time, it was more of like I expected it just because a lot of speculation and my name was being swirled around, and
Hmm.
the GM actually called me on my way to Brewers Fan Fest to get the season started. And he called me, and I answered the phone. And I was like, "Hey, man, so where am I going?"
Mm,
And he, said, "Man, Lewis, thank you for everything. Congratulations on making your debut with us last year, but we traded you to Miami." And I'm like,
okay.
"Oh, wait a minute. I'm going home." Like initially, I was like, "Oh man, I'm getting traded again," but it clicked. The light bulb clicked. It was like, "Oh, wait, I'm going home. Like I get to play in front of my friends and family. My mom, my
Yeah.
mom was going to retire the year after, so she got to watch all my games. So it was great. And then you put, like you said, you put the added pressure as far as like getting traded for the MVP that year. Ended up being the MVP in 2018. It's a huge trade when you trade four guys for one dude.
Right.
So and it was essentially like a very big trade for the Marlins, starting over, kind of starting to rebuild, and you're the head of that, so you put that
Hmm.
pressure on yourself on top of the expectations that you already have on yourself to perform on the field. So I did
Right.
put some extra pressure on myself, and it showed. But I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way, man. Like I said, I lived out my dream. My literal dream came true as a little kid, rooting for the Marlins and being a huge fan of the Miami or the Florida Marlins at the time. And now I get to play for them. Literally dream come true. So I wouldn't have it any other. I wouldn't change anything.